BC. That's good. What about you, Evan?
After death.
Actually, do you know what? I used to actually think that. It's really close, actually. But Stav gets the 4 points. Before Christ, BC. Basically, before the birth of Christ. And then AD, Anno Domini. Well, unless he died when he was born. You know what I mean? But, so...
It's Latin, AD.
Stav, right? Who said that you could get all the brownie points this week? Evan hasn't got any yet.
No.
You know, Evan, yeah, stop bullying him. Stop picking on him, you know? And that woman behind me, can you just go? Right, okay. So have you got a bit of paper quickly? We're going to just do this one quick.
No. I'll go and get a piece now.
Oh, you know, every single week I ask you to bring paper, both of you, right? Evan's a complete fail. Stav's a complete fail because they've got no paper in front of them, right?
Actually, I got paper today.
But I bet you haven't got a pen.
Correct.
Well, go and get a pen then. I'll tell you what.
Actually, I've got a pen. It was right next to my computer.
Yeah, but you still have to go and get it. Yeah. Hey, do you want me to do something even more weirder with my screen thingy, right? What we're going to do, we're going to do something even more weirder, right? We're going to do this.
No. Oh my god.
Right.
Oh my god.
So here we go. That's it. So.
That is weird.
So right.
I do not like that.
You don't like that, do you?
No, I don't.
I got bones in my mouth.
And in your eyes.
And in my
For your chin.
And in your nose.
Oh, I got bones up my nose. Yeah, all right then. Because Evan's getting really upset, right? We'll because it's all about Evan, right? We'll just get rid of that. Right. So there you go. We got that back. Right. Do you know what we should do? We're going to put some mummies in the background instead. There they are. That's my dad up there, and that's my mum. Right, so let's do BC and AD, right? So before the birth of Christ, before Jesus was born, right? Well, there are different dates from when Jesus was born, but tell me when Jesus was born.
0000.
No. What's the date? What's the date of the year we celebrate Jesus Christ's birth?
24th of
December.
November.
No, hang on a minute. You both said 24th.
Yes.
Is he right or wrong, Stav? And then you get.
Right.
Yeah, he's right.
No, it's not. It's the 25th.
Oh, what?
Uh-uh.
Hang on. That's the whole point. He was born on the 25th of December, apparently.
Let me Google it.
No, we're not doing Google this week. Right. Anyway, long story short, right? Long story short, so the time leading up to the end of December is classed as 1 BC, and then you wake up the next day, right? And it's the 1st of January, 1 AD, right? Got it?
After death.
Tell me know something.
Right. You know, when I was in school, right, they used to get a ruler and they used to get your hand and they used to smack it with a ruler.
But you can't do that to me because I'm like 10 miles away from him.
Yeah, but I'm sure your dad wouldn't mind. I just thought I'd put that in. Do you know when I was in school, I used to have the ruler on my hand loads of times. And I tell you what, when I was in school, I had the ruler, about 10 strokes in the ruler, right, and it broke because in the dinner hall, I used to flick peas at girls.
Wow.
Apparently that wasn't allowed. It just wasn't. So do we get that, right? So basically everything leading up to the end of December, right, is classed as 1 BC, right? And then on the 1st of January, it's 1 AD. Are we clear about that?
What's AD mean?
I just said
Anno Domini.
Basically, it means in the common era.
I don't get it.
Do you get it, Stav?
quite clearly, yeah.
Yeah, well, if I give up on Evan, right, because you know, Evan comes into the throw today looking at zombies, because that the reason why Evan's the way he is today, right, is the only thing he wants to learn about is the archaeology of zombies. Am I correct there, Evan?
No.
All right, then I got that wrong, didn't I? Right. So what don't you understand about what we just said, Evan?
Nothing. I just wanted to say.
Whoa, God. You know, if you were in front of me, right, I would have all my peas and I'd be flicking them at you by now. Do you know what? There used to be a teacher at school, right? What we used to do, we used to get the insides of pens, and we used to take the insides of pens out. We used to choose some tissue and we used to spit it at the teacher's back.
Oh God.
That's what we used to do. And we used to call him Soapy Luxton. One day he had so much of the white stuff on his back, right? When he turned around, it all flew off over the people in the room. It was great. Anyway, right. What we're going to do, we're going to go to this place, which is ancient Egypt, right? But we're not going to do what we did last week, right? We're going to look at a place known as Heracleopolis, right? Ever heard of it?
No.
Well, you don't need to have heard of it, you know, because that's why you're here, to hopefully learn one thing today. Evan, Stav can't remember anything he learned last week. So did you learn anything last week off me, Evan?
Yes.
What?
King Tutankhamun.
That's close. Tutankhamun, right?
Tutankhamun.
What did you learn last week, Stav?
The history of Tutankhamun.
Bingo. Actually, you both get a point about that, right? So are you actually seeing an image in front of you
No.
of a weird looking bloke?
No.
No.
Now?
Yeah.
He's
Right.
got a beard.
Oh, God, no. I tell you what, right? We are not doing where we did last week. What do you know about ancient Egypt? Egyptian people live there. What do you know about ancient Egypt? They spoke Egyptian. No, we are not doing that this week, right? We're not going there, right? That's not happening. I'm in charge, not you, right? Okay, what do you know about this guy, Evan?
He has a beard.
What do you know about him, Stav?
He's got weird hair going like that.
Yeah, that's this guy is a guy known as Stevens, right? He found the wonderful site of Palenque, right? John Stevens. But we won't be doing this first. We'll be doing Heracleopolis. And what we're going to do, I'm going to show you a few maps and stuff, and I'm going to read you a nice little story about Heracleopolis. And they believe that the Egyptians were afraid of zombies, and it's true. It's true. And the story begins there. It's a very small image of a tomb. And do you know what we should do? We should actually have that up as a screen saver behind me, shouldn't we? So that's what we're going to do. We're just gonna get the virtual background. We're going to get inside that tomb. Does that sound like a good idea?
Yeah.
So?
Oh, that's good then. You know, it's you know, I know you know that I'm so wonderful, right? And you love doing this every week, but you don't have to tell me. It's just I know. Right, so let's get this image up there. Do you know, for some strange reason, I can't find it. Why did they do this to me? Do you know what I think we're going to be doing? We're going to do this instead. Let's have a bit of that. Oh, that's great. Isn't that wonderful?
I can't see it because your big head's in the way.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Yeah. Right. So at Heracleopolis, right, there's what they found is hieroglyphic carvings on the stone, right? A relief stone, and you can obviously see that you've got headless people over there, right? In the middle, you've got a load of Egyptians, and on the other side, you've got a load more headless people, which you can't see on here.
I see a bird.
Yeah, well, that's good. At least you can see something. That's a good observation. So this is associated with the Heracleopolis because the ancient Egyptians.
Are they flags?
Well, yeah, sort of flags. Yeah, good. Shut up. So let's do a bit more. Let's screen share again, right? So in this tomb here, at a place known as Heracleopolis, and hopefully you can see the image. You can see an image. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. At this tomb of Heracleopolis, inside that tomb, with a big doorway, right? They found something very unusual, and that's what we're going to tell you about. But before we actually get to the very, very unusual, let's show you a few more images. At Heracleopolis, there's loads of paintings, and there are lots of really strange paintings telling a strange story about what happened at Heracleopolis. And what we need to do is show you exactly where this is. There it is, Heracleopolis. Right, Evan, I'm going to ask you a really silly question, and you're going to give me a really silly answer. Where is Heracleopolis?
On a river.
That is a really silly answer. Where is Heracleopolis?
See, like it's pinpointed on a river.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but
It's on a river.
when you say it's on a river, right, it's not actually in the river, is it?
It's floating on the river.
Yeah, well, floating down the river, yeah.
Rolling down the river.
Stav, obviously we know it's in ancient Egypt, right? Heracleopolis, right? It's a place that was ruled over by those pharaohs, and there it is. So we're looking at a very.
It's on a river.
No, it's a long.
Black dots on a river.
No, it's alongside a river, you nincompoop. That's green stuff. Okay, it's going to be alongside a river because that's where all people live, isn't it? You know, because it's water and stuff. Yeah. Oh God.
I need water.
Dendara's knees. What's that?
Why need water when you can just have cow's milk?
What? Oh no. Cow's milk is made from water, isn't it? You know what I mean?
It's made from cows.
No, it's not made from cows. Do you know they used to be? I'll tell you a little story, right? Years ago in Manchester, right? I digress. Years ago in Manchester, the children used to think milk came from cartons, right? And they actually used to think apples came from paper bags. So what they did, they took the children to Wales, right? And they showed them cows that were producing milk. And they also showed them that apples actually came off a tree. And that is very true. But mind you, that's English people. So they're going to think that anyway, aren't they? So us people in Wales, we're a bit more intelligent. Right. So anyway, carry on. And there's Heracleopolis there again on that map. So what we're going to do, we're going to tell you the story about these wonderful zombies. And what we're looking at there, right, is that the ancient Egyptians have cut off, it said, these people's heads and put them alongside their legs, because one of the ancient Egyptian pharaohs have actually defeated these people, right, and actually cut their heads off and put them between their legs because they actually believed in zombies. The ancient Egyptians really did. And we've got that wonderful piece of evidence from Heracleopolis. So what we're going to do, right, before Evan says any more.
I've got a question.
As long as it's a sensible question, then Stav can ask a question, okay?
But why are all their people smaller than they go bigger and bigger?
That's because they're probably children.
Well,
yeah, that's true. That's a good answer. They're probably children. That's why. They look like children for a start. Look.
They don't. They're beards.
No.
And they're holding heavy flags.
Yeah, okay, then they got beards. They might be little people with beards, okay? Don't try and catch me out. I'm the one doing this, not you. Right, okay. Okay, they were dwarfs with beards, all right? That's fine. It's just all right. Just get over it. Yeah? Are you ready for me to say something? Thank you very much, Evan. That's where we're going to go now. Oh, do you know what? I look forward to I look forward to Wednesday evening every single week. Right. So zombie attack at Heracleopolis, right? And this is the way the story goes. Heracleopolis is a site famous for its many firsts. So many, in fact, it is not easy to keep track of them all. So we are grateful. Are we grateful, folks? I think we are. It's said that in 1892, a British group of archaeologists decided to excavate at Heracleopolis. And they unearthed a normal tomb. Basically, the tomb had been sealed up. It was fine, right? It was fine. Everything was fine about it. There was
Another
no...
question.
Hang on a minute. Let me finish, and then you can ask your question, right? When they opened the tomb, right, they found a partially decomposed body, so it was still rotting, whose brain had sort of come out of the skull. So in other words, the person was still alive, right? They must have smashed their head up against a wall, right? And their brain had come out, right? And it's believed it was infected by some kind of a virus. That means that the flesh and the brain continues to sort of live for a very long period of time. And now you can ask that question whilst I then go and show you an image, right? So go and ask me that question, then.
Do you have to have a license to make an what's the word called?
Excavation.
Excavation, yeah.
Well, yeah, some of us do. In Egypt, you need to have a license to excavate, yeah. And guess what that is?
Well,
The brain.
Rubble.
What's that?
Bone.
Rubble.
Meat.
No, yeah, thanks. Right, you've lost the point, Stav, right? Evan gets 2 points, right? That is actually brain. It's not rubble. And this is again this is evidence that lots of those people had their heads cut off, because you can see where those little marks there show the cut marks where the head was actually cut off.
Is it just me, or does that look like a pig?
Oh yeah.
Right, okay, right. One, it's not just you, it's Stav. And secondly, it doesn't look like a pig, and stop being an idiot, right? So, and you're not an idiot, Stav, because if I call an idiot, your grandmother will beat me up. Oh, and I also forgot, if I call Evan an idiot, his dad will beat me up as well. Evan, you're not an idiot at all. And Stav's for you, Stav, you're not an idiot. You're very, very non-idiotic people, right?
You have to worry about my dog, not my father.
Yeah, I know. That does not look like a pig. How does that look like a pig?
The nose is the sticking out bit, and then the 2 holes on the side is its eyes.
No.
And then there's a big mouth.
No, that does not look like a pig. And Evan, why does that look like a pig to you?
Because of what Stav said.
Yeah, you're just a coward. You just didn't want to say what Stav just said, and that's reality, right? You didn't want to be completely embarrassed, right? Anyway, that's basically where somebody's head has been cut off, right? So what we're going to do now, we're going to go back to my notes, right? Because I need to scream. Right? And do you know what? When they'd opened the tomb, guess what else they found in there? No, Evan, none of your silliness. Oh my God.
Bones.
Yeah, good. What else?
Dead people.
Oh, now, yes.
Brains.
Right. Yeah, because I've already told you, right? What else did they find in their Stav? What was on the walls?
Blood.
Carvings. No, head marks.
Close.
From
They actually found scratch marks on the inside of the walls on the fresco, right? Yes, somebody had trying to be scratching into the frescoes and the beautiful paintings on the wall. They've been trying to scratch their way out, right? But they couldn't get out, right? And that's the evidence they actually found. Whoever was in there tried to claw their way out. They've been buried alive. Yeah? You getting it? Good.
But couldn't they just so when you get buried alive, above them is like dirt and stuff?
No, this is in a tomb.
Oh. Why did you say so?
I did say so. Right. Stav, didn't I at the beginning show you that's a tomb, right? And he was buried in there. Didn't I say that?
Yeah.
See, Evan, you've lost 24 marks now.
I only had 5, so.
Yeah, well, you're minus 21 now. Right. So in other words, when they found this was thought to be absolutely amazing. And the tomb itself had plaster that's dated to approximately 5,000 years ago.
5,000.
What's that?
5,000.
Yeah, 5,000 years ago. Yeah.
That should be too long.
No, look, I'm only doing what I look. It was. I know it's a bit too long ago. I know your dad can't remember back then, and he's only been on trains since 1846, right? But you don't have to say it that way, all right? Anyway, and there's one thing. You know that thing that you can actually still see it. Can you see my image? Yeah.
Sorry?
Can you still see me?
Paused.
And that carving behind me. I've paused.
It's frozen.
Have I?
Yes, please.
Well, can you see me now? Am I moving? Oh, for Pete's sake! Can you see? Can you still see me? Oh, are you two listening still? Am I there? Yeah. Are you still there then?
Yeah, you paused.
No, I didn't. It's just your. It's just your.
No, you paused.
No.
Paused.
No.
You stuck like this.
What? No, that's enough, okay? Yeah, that's good. That's good. Right, you know this thing behind me, right? Yeah? Got that?
Yeah.
Right? Brilliant. I'm glad you got that one, right? Because that was carved over 5,000 years ago.
Who's that on the top right?
That's Dave. Right. So, oh God. There was a carving, right? There was a carving which is 5,000 years old, right? And the carving, it said, was dedicated to a victory over people in Egypt, and it said that the victory was over a group of zombies. Yeah. And that's what that scene is about. Well, I don't look. All we're going with what the Egyptians are saying. We're not sure that we don't think that they were real zombies, right? However, the king. So what we've got on this behind us. The king is a large figure on the one side, and the bodies on the other side are all those people that are piled up who've had their heads cut off, right? And it's believed that is evidence of zombie activity, right? Yeah? Are you getting this? Good.
You froze again.
No, I didn't freeze again. You're just making it up.
You carry on freezing and speaking like,
Yeah, but you can still hear me though, can't you?
Yeah.
You go,
Maybe that's how I sound. And right, hang on. What we got to do? I'm going to put the Ethernet lead in just in case, right? Just see where we're at.
What's an Ethernet lead?
Oh, look. Do you know anything about computers?
I don't know.
Well, you're on one, so you must know something.
But I know they're not going on and off.
You'll be going on and off a bridge in a minute if you don't shut up. Right. Okay. Right. So
you press the big red button.
Boop. Oh my God. Right. So okay. Just what we're gonna do. We're gonna share the screen again, right? Because you're cramping my style, right? You really are. Right. So look at that there. Are you seeing what it says there?
Cool.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Can you? Right. Good. Oh, right. The image on the left-hand side, right, is one of the vertebra, right? With cut marks in it, right? Vertebra with cut marks in it, and that shows, yeah, that shows that the head has been cut off. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we know, right? The archaeological evidence tells us, right? There's a carving behind us that shows that they were cutting people's heads off. That's a fact. That's fact one. Let's do the real stuff, yeah? The image in front of us shows some of the bones in the tombs at Heracleopolis, right? where people's heads have been cut off. So that's again evidence that people's heads are being cut off, right? The other
But
question.
why would people chop people's head off?
That's what I'm getting onto, you nincompoop. That's what
They
I'm
weren't
trying.
behaving.
Yes. Right, I just calm down. I'm supposed to be really calm. You know, I deep breath. It's okay. You can cope with Evan, right? He's not a problem, right? He's an idiot, but he's fine. Yeah. Right. Anyway,
Okay.
I'm not allowed to call you an idiot, Evan. You're a really nice guy, right? And I would love to pass you in the street and run.
You're freezing and speaking again.
Am I?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. It's just ruining my life, all of it, right? So what the archaeology is telling us, we've got a tomb, right? We've got a tomb where we've got we've got scratch marks inside it, right? In the beautiful paintings, the frescoes inside the tomb, right? So what we need to do, we need to go back to the original image and actually look at the tomb again, right? To actually to remind you.
What's a tomb?
A tomb is where people are buried.
Okay.
So
What sort of people?
men and also women, I think.
What's a woman?
But anyway, so what we've got is that's the tomb in there, right? That's the tomb in there. Right? Do you know what? I should just do a comedy routine, shouldn't I? It'd just be much better. Why don't I just do horrible histories? It would be absolutely great.
Yes.
Yeah, just do horrible histories, yeah? So let's just carry on with this, right? In that tomb, through there, right? There was
Where's the elevator?
What's that?
Where's the elevator?
No, this is rock cut just below the surface, right? There's the entranceway. It was blocked up. Remember, in the 1890s, right, when they opened it, they found basically a brain that was just slightly outside the skull, so we're told. The rest of the body, and there were scratch marks in the mortar on the walls, in the frescoes in the walls. There was actually scratch marks, right? And the flesh almost hadn't completely decomposed. It was almost as if it decomposed
Did they
really
go
slowly.
insane?
What's that?
Did the people in there go insane?
Yeah, that's why he's probably smashed his head against the wall. Yeah, it's a bit obvious, isn't it?
Wait, what? How would you smash your own head against the wall? Like,
Look, I'm not going to demonstrate it for you. I don't know. Why didn't you look it up on Google? But I'm not supposed to be saying that because it'd be probably 18 rated or something. And you're not supposed to be looking at things like that, okay?
people smashing their head against the wall.
Yeah.
Well, now people smashing.
Right, should we just go back? Let's just go back to the brain. Go back to the brain. Right. Okay. So there we go. We're just going back to the brain. There's the brain. Right. And that was actually found there in the tomb. Okay. For some strange reason, his head had been, whatever, and there were scratch marks on the plaster, and he'd been trying to get out. So obviously, what the evidence tells us is there's something not quite right with that tomb. It's unusual evidence. The person was buried alive. Why were they buried alive? It said that they may have had a virus, and the virus made people think that they were dead. But in fact, they woke up in the tomb, and unfortunately, they couldn't get out. So it was all pitch black, and they tried to claw their way out of the tomb, and they couldn't get out. That's basically what they say happened. Oh, God. Well, are there any questions on this? Because we'll do the next bit.
I got a question.
Yes.
Good.
No.
Right, Evan, you're not allowed to ask any questions for one whole minute. Keep that mouth closed. Stab.
Wait. How long's a minute? Oh,
75 seconds.
I just asked another one.
Go for it.
My question now, is it? Okay. How did the people get out of the tomb?
That's the whole point. They didn't. That's why they found. No, shut up, Evan. Right? That's
Then how did they get in?
Oh, God. Right, okay, right. It's likely the person was buried alive, okay? They were put in a sarcophagus, they were buried alive. Then they woke up. They thought, oh my God, yeah, we saw a sarcophagus last week when we did King Tutankhamun. Were you watching at all? Yeah, were you actually watching at all? So,
I think so.
right, so
Is that a chicken?
No, it's not. Tutankhamun was
Is it a
buried.
hen?
No, it's nothing. There's actually nothing here. Tutankhamun was actually buried in a sarcophagus last week. Yeah?
Why you got a chicken next to you?
There's not a chicken there at all.
It is.
It's not. You're imagining it.
Not. There's chicken next to your head.
That's not a chicken. You're imagining it. There's no chicken there at all.
There is
Right.
a chicken there.
You're lying, right? Anyway.
Its peak is right next to your eye.
But basically,
See, you just touched it.
I didn't. It's not there. So, right, answer the question. Right, the answer is that they cut a tomb out of the rock, right, and then basically they put the body in a sarcophagus, right. But they thought the person was probably still alive when they put them in a sarcophagus. The person wakes up. The man wakes up and he thinks, "Oh my God, it's all pitch black. I can't see anything." Right. So he tries to claw his way out. So for some reason, right, he may have banged his head against a wall, so a rock fell on his head. Basically, when they opened it, they found out his brain was outside of his head, right? And then they looked in on the walls, right? And there were scratch marks in the plaster on the walls, right? They had to break in there to find him in the 1890s. So therefore, that answers your questions.
Would he have been smart enough to not crawl? Because I think human beings know that they can't crawl through rocks.
Oh, right, I'm going to get rid of this chicken, which isn't here, right? And I will answer that question now. I tell you what, next week, should we also do burying people alive in the Victorian period?
Yeah.
Let's do what if Evan wasn't stupid.
What?
Let's do what if Evan wasn't stupid.
I've got one. Let's do the history of ants.
Oh no!
Yes. No.
He's afraid of ants.
No, not.
You are. You're petrified of them. You are so afraid of ants.
I'm petrified of spiders.
I'm petrified of this thing now. Let me Google it.
What? Right. So right. I'm confused where we are. What was your question, Evan?
I'm petrified of this guy, you said.
No, Stav asked me a question.
Did I?
Yeah.
I'm petrified of this man. Chungus.
My question was, how did the people get out of the tomb?
Exactly.
They didn't get out the tomb, though. That's the point. That's what.
Then how did they get in?
They were buried in there.
From the top, by the side, by the bottom.
By the side. I keep showing you the image. Please take them away. Right, so they were, yeah, and then it was all sealed up, right? It was all sealed up, right? And they couldn't get out. So that's basically what happened.
Okay.
Right, okay, so what we're going to do, right, we're going to do the next part now. We're going to look at Palenque, yeah? Oh, God. You know what? I want to, if I started banging my head up against the wall, maybe my brain would fall out, I think. Yeah. So we're going to be looking at this place next. So what I got to do, I got to change my background. So who's chatting? Yeah.
Is someone chatting?
Let's do what if Evan wasn't stupid. Yeah, but what I've got to say, but you're not stupid. I don't actually understand what the question is. But you've got to type something now as well.
Can I share you my screen for a second?
Yeah, right then. Oh my God, no, please. This is not a good idea.
Okay.
Hang on, you can share your screen, yeah.
How am I supposed to type?
Yeah, no. You like?
God, that is quite frightening.
No, it ain't.
How can it be a prehistoric spider when it's like, what?
Want to see more? Look at that.
Yeah, I'm sure that's real.
It is.
That's
Look at
from
that one.
Australia, clearly.
Look at that. That's real. Look at that one. Let's bring that one down on top of a bloke.
Which one?
No, you passed it. It's further up.
This one.
Oh my God, that's real. I've seen that. That's that was in Cardiff the other week. There, a bit further down. There's a guy. There, got it. There.
Oh.
No.
Why has he got eyes in his butt?
Oh no. That's not eyes in its butt. That's his sting.
No.
Oh
Go
right, yeah. Those are eyes, isn't they?
Why would he need eyes there?
If somebody wants to eat it, I don't know. It's just like whatever. Right. Let's get back to what we're doing. Oh, for Pete's sake! I knew Pete. Right. So what we're gonna do? The next thing we're gonna do, right? We're gonna do Palenque, right? That's where we're gonna go
He
next.
froze again.
He's frozen.
No, I haven't frozen again.
He froze just then.
Yeah, you stuck like this.
I can't see myself on the little screen.
Yeah, but nobody wants to see you, though, do they?
I've disappeared.
What he said.
What I said?
Yes.
What did I just say?
No one wants to see stuff.
Oh, that's terrible, Iris. You know, that's racist.
Was it racist?
It is racist. It's oh, I'm in the jungle now. Look at that. It's brilliant. There he is. That man with the white hat, that is Catherwood. And the other one who he's talking to is Stevens. Yeah, got it. All right, so are we all there? Good. Do you know, it's great having this. I've actually got a green screen behind me. It's great. I'm like a child with a new toy. Right, so does anyone know where Palenque is?
No. It sounds a bit like an animal, though.
No, it's not. It's not an animal. It's that's one of the temples at Palenque, and Palenque is there. It's in basically modern day Mexico.
Mexico.
Southeast of modern day Mexico. So obviously the United States there, Guatemala, South America, south of that, and that is Palenque. Now, Catherwood and Stevens discovered this wonderful site, which was covered in trees and tropical rainforest and jungle. And the amazing story is what they would have had. So you can imagine, right? You could be Catherwood Stav.
Okay.
And who else is here as well? I think who's going to be Stevens? Oh, I guess Evan can be Stevens. So we've already seen what we've already seen what Stevens looks like. The guy with the beard, and then Catherwood is the other bloke. So anyway, they traveled through the tropical rainforest for months after months after months, and they eventually found this wonderful site, which we now know as Palenque, one of many cities lost, one of many cities of gold. They used to believe that there was loads of cities of gold in Central and South America. And it's said, like shattered barks in green ocean, their masts gone, their names lost, their crews perished, and none to tell from whence they came. And that's what they're describing. They're describing all these temples. They went there to actually draw them. There they are. That's you there, Stav, Catherwood.
Now, check on the chat.
Stevens.
Yeah, look on the chat.
Check on the chat and scroll up. And then you're going to see the best song ever.
The best song ever?
Yes.
What? That's a song?
Ain't nobody gonna break my stride. And no, no,
What?
you know.
Right. Okay. Here we go.
Last night I had the strangest dream.
Who's singing
Sailed
this?
away train in a little rubber to and you said you had to get your laundry clean.
Shut
And
up!
if anyone told you, what does that mean? I say, ain't no one gonna break my stride.
Yeah. Do you know what I've just done, Stav? I've just bloody muted him. I tell you what, that was Bob Marley, wasn't it? Never gonna break my stride. Never gonna la la la. Oh no, la la
You
la
got
la 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 la.
to
La 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 la. Right, carry on. So they were searching the tropical rainforest for these great temples, right? That they believed were the places where the cities of gold were to be found. Now, Catherwood was an Englishman, Stav. Stevens was actually from North America. And they wanted
I'm
to find...
American.
You're American, yeah. You sound a bit American. They're all numpties.
What?
And look at these beautiful temples that they're actually finding. Going through the tropical rainforest and finding all these beautiful temples. These great Evan. Evan loves these. So they find in these wonderful temples, like a dream. And what they're doing is that when they got to Palenque, right? When they went to New York, they decided that they were going to buy it, the whole city of Palenque, and the city of Palenque goes back to the period of the Maya. Does anyone know that when they came from? No?
No.
The Mayans themselves come from over 600 years ago, 700 years ago, 800 years ago. And the height of the Mayan civilization was over 1,000 years ago. So all these temples, this beautiful, wonderful city was rediscovered by Catherwood and Stevens. And if you can imagine, covered in all those trees, it's said that you can go through the jungles and forests of Central America and South America, and you can pass whole cities and not know they're there because they've been taken over by the trees and the jungle. And they actually decided that they were actually buy this wonderful site, and they were going to buy it for $50. And they were going to take it down stone by stone, and they were going to have it rebuilt in North America, which would have been a great shame. Life in the rainforest was hard, and the unpredictable and frightened tribesmen were not their only hazard. Listen to this, guys. As Stephen scribbled away and Catherwood measured and drew the temples, it rained constantly and was very hot. Well, if it rained constantly, they could have been in Wales, but it's not very hot in Wales, is it? It might be hot in Ferndale, but they're all mad in Ferndale. After a few weeks in the palace, all their possessions were mildewed and rusted. Even their matches did not work. Stephen tells us that he caught fireflies in a jar to light his desk at night. So in other words, they got these wonderful flies that light up at night, so they're able to catch these fireflies. And they also caught malaria. Does anyone know what malaria is?
Is it a country?
Is it a town?
No, malaria, that's Malaysia.
Oh,
Malaria.
Say Malaysia.
What's that?
He did say Malaysia.
Who said Malaysia?
You.
Yeah, but that's what I just said.
Yeah.
But it's not Malaysia, it's malaria, you numpty.
No, you said Malaysia.
I said malaria.
Malaria is something that mosquitoes carry.
But what did I actually say then, Evan? Are you saying I said Malaysia?
Yes, you did.
Right, Stav, did I say malaria or Malaysia?
I don't know. I think it was Malaysia.
Yes.
I said malaria.
You said Malaysia.
How can you catch Malaysia? What you're supposed to? Oh, by the way, I got Malaysia on my back.
Well, God can see that, but we can't.
Yeah, but Jesus does love you. You know that, don't you?
No.
Maybe.
I'm
There's
not a Christian, so he can't love me.
Ah, yeah, but Jesus loves everyone. You are all his children.
But I don't trust
No,
him.
I'm my mum and dad's
I
child.
don't. I hate him.
Do you know what, Evan? Right, my mum and dad. I said to my mum and dad, "Mum and dad, you're my mum and dad," and they both said, "We didn't know that." Anyway, because my parents thought a stork had brought me. You see.
Oh.
That's shut you up, haven't we? They both caught malaria, all right? And when you're dying from malaria, guess what happens, right? You could be lying in your bed, right? And as you go to toilet, right? It goes all over the bed, right? And you're lying in your own, right? And to try and get rid of that, what people would do, they put a hole in your bed so all the stuff goes all over the floor. That's how bad malaria is. And they were also within the jungle as well. They were also bitten by blood-sucking ticks. On top of this, Stevens's feet were attacked by chiggers, burrowing insect larvae that he had to cut out with his knife. So in other words, he'd have all these little things and you'd see all the little heads poking out their feet, and they'd have to take them out. Right. So anyway, they had to then be taken back to the nearest city and looked after. But eventually, after being completely exhausted, they decided to record many of the buildings in Palenque, and they visited nearly 100 lost Mayan city sites and 14 much larger sites indeed. They didn't actually have the whole site taken apart and taken to America. But these wonderful sites were built by the Mayan civilization. We don't know why the Mayan civilization came to an end. It just did. It just did come to an end.
How did it come to an end, though?
Well, the people stopped living in these places. They just disappeared. Sometime in some Mayan cities, sometimes in some Mayan cities over 1,000 years ago, they just abandoned them. They just walked away and decided to live somewhere else.
Why? That place looks so good.
It does
It looked like it took ages to build.
It did. Lots of these places did.
Yes. Never mind.
And
It's 3:30, by the way.
Yeah, it's 3:30, right? You were waiting in the wrong room, so you got another 10 minutes.
Cool.
Nice.
Winding you up.
Nice. Do you know what we used to do in school? The teacher used to say, "Oh, what's the time?" So we used to give him a half an hour later than when it was. So he used to let us go.
Oh God.
Mind you, he was from Barry, and he was a bit thick. So yeah, these wonderful buildings, the Mayan temples, they took many.
That a deer?
What's that?
That a deer?
Yeah. No, it's Bambi.
That's a bloke. That's Catherwood, that is.
Who's Catherwood?
That's Stav. You're Stevens. Stevens is the American. Catherwood's the Englishman.
He doesn't look like Stav.
He looks nothing like me.
He's
wearing weird clothes.
Yeah, and
I'm going to do something to freak you out a minute. Hang on.
the chicken. I'm calling it.
Does that look really freaky?
This.
Yeah?
Totally.
Well, that's good then. That's good. What we should do, we should have a Halloween version of this. Why has your screen gone all red?
Boo.
Right. So anyway, and we were right. Catherwoods is the Englishman who went there, and this is in 1839. So what we'll do, we'll be coming back to Palenque again, but not today. I'll just give you a bit of an overview. And these are the beautiful temples that they're drawing. They actually built all these. Some of them, actually, they were starting to lose their eyesight, actually. And the way they would actually draw, they would actually get the lead from a bullet, and they would actually make that into a pencil, and they would draw actually with that. So these are things that they actually drew, and they actually lived in these. We won't do that yet. They actually lived. Why can I hear R2D2?
I don't know. It must be your imagination.
They actually lived in these buildings, but they were absolutely so amazing, these buildings. Can you turn that off? But I muted him, Stab, because he's a very naughty boy. He's a very naughty boy. So anyway, these wonderful temple complexes, there's hundreds all the way across Mexico. Because what happened in the Mayan world is simply because they had exhausted planting the fields full of their crops. That people basically didn't have a lot to eat. So they just basically abandoned the cities and actually moved elsewhere. But we don't know anything
Where are
more than that. What's that?
Where are their farms?
Well, the farm, basically, they lived in the bottoms of the valley. So what would happen if you go, I'll show you a little bit of a map. Right, what would happen is this would be in the bottom of the valley, and they would plant crops on the slopes of these valleys. And this is basically, this is how they lived. And they would naturally have water, and in places like Mexico City, they would have various canals and all the rest of it to get goods around. But this is the wonderful city of Palenque, known for the great leader Pakal, which we'll be looking at another week. See, Pakal is a great leader that lived over 1,400 years ago. But Pakal is somebody that we'll be looking at not next week, but in a few weeks' time. So,
do you know him?
What's that?
Do you know him?
Yeah, I was walking down the street one day. I saw a house on fire, and he was at the top in this house, right, looking at me, and that was Pakal.
Was it?
So you're 1,400 years old.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, your dad Evan remembers the blooming dinosaurs, so you know we are a bit old. Anyway, this is wonderful Palenque, right? So what we're going to do, I want to give you a bit of an overview. Your homework for next week is reading up a little bit about Pakal, P-E-C-A-L, and see if you can actually find any information about him. So Pakal, P-E-C-A-L. Right? So what we're going to do one last thing. So we've done a bit of, so what I'm going to ask, right, before we look at the last image, I want to do a little bit of recap. What does AD mean, Evan?
After Deridium.
What does it mean, Stav?
Anno Domini, was it?
Anno Domini.
Antediluvium.
Anno Domini.
Anno Domini. And what does when does BC stop?
After the 25th of January.
No, the 25th of December, which is how
The
many
birthday of.
Right, so basically, technically,
It stops.
it stops when? Right, let's just do a recap. When Jesus Christ is born on the 25th of December, what they say in a few days' time, that will be the official day that the new period begins. And the new period begins on the 1st of January, which is AD, which means Common Era, Anno Domini. Everything before the 1st of January is BC, and everything after the 1st of January is Anno Domini. So, just a couple of questions.
It's been 10 minutes.
Shut up! 3 minutes to go. You still got to answer questions. So the other thing as well is what happened at Heracleopolis?
A man smashed his brain on the.
Yeah, he grabbed his head and smashed it.
And what did the ancient Egyptians think happened?
He was infected by malaria.
And he walked around.
No, malaria is something different. Malaria is a bit of. Basically, I didn't tell you, he was infected, some believe, by the Solanum virus.
What's that?
It's a virus that can make you you basically fall asleep one night, and it's almost as if people think you're dead, right? It just slows your heartbeat down and all the rest of it. And this person was probably buried alive in Heracleopolis. And so your homework for next week is Palenque. So what I'd like to say is I'm going to show you what the topic is next week as well. So if we go through all these images. We're going to be looking next week. Where is this person? Where is he?
Pompeii.
Yes! Top marks! And what's this guy's name, Evan?
David.
Now he's a Roman, and this is Pompeii.
Pompeii.
On the 20th of August,
Bombay.
year AD 79. Not Bombay, Pompeii.
Bombay.
On the 20th of August in the year AD 79, Pompeii was covered in volcanic ashes and so on due to the eruption of Vesuvius. Right, so what I'd like to ask, it is nearly 1 minute left, and we got questions. Right, have we got any questions from you, Evan?
Yeah, can you listen to my song?
It's a Star Wars song called My Stick.
No, it ain't.
My steg?
Right,
My
listen.
Stick. This is Yoda singing.
With my head, with my stick, with my stick. From my stick, from my stick. My stick, my stick, my stick is better than bacon.
Oh, no.
It was made by bad lip reading.
I tell you what, we're going to do that now. You keep listening. I'll be back now.
My stick is better than da, 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 da. You can't touch my stick. Da, da, da.
What you guys need to get hold of
My
is
friend
these
from a log.
sound boxes.
One can see better
Yes.
than bacon.
Here we go. This goes. Anyway, here we go. Thank you. That was a good talk, wasn't it? Thank you very much. Right. Hang on. The wall.
Good song.
My dog's
In 2
just come
minutes.
in.
Was it a good song?
Yeah, it was great.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Right. So, are there any other questions before we go?
Yeah, do you hear my other one?
Oh, all right. All right. Before we have the other one, have you got any other questions, Evan?
No.
Stav?
Who made coffee?
Shut up. So actually, the Mayans, it's quite likely that there was a type of coffee at the time of the Mayans who were talking about over 1,600 years ago. So that's the answer to that question. So you know what we're doing next week. We're going to be doing a bit of Pompeii next week. If there's no more questions, let's go out with Evan's song.
Okay, look in the chat first, though.
Hang on. The question is, right, does Stav love Brenda? Because, you know, I love Brenda. Evan loves Brenda.
Everyone loves Brenda.
Here we go.
Something awful.
No, that's true. That's true. That's true. Hang
Yes,
on.
Daddy, change the floors. The floors. Tears, blood, it rained into the board. Yes, the change. Chicken duck, 1 month and wait for every day. All day. Flowers waiting in the buses for us.
On that note, yes, that was really good. So, have you all enjoyed today, you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. So next week we will also be looking at the Victorian, the bodies from the Victorian period. That people were buried alive. We can actually find the scratch marks in coffin lids where people tried to get out.
Scratch marks.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Okay. On that note, I'm going to leave you two be. So I'll see you next week. So anyone want to say anything else before we go?
I love Brenda.
And also, the staff doesn't love Brenda, but I love Brenda as well. She loved me.
No, everyone loves Brenda.
I
No, that was good. He's gone.
Bye.
Anyway, see you, staff. Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, my dearie me. That was very different. Green screen.